Tape script 4.10.1.
I traveled to Phnom Penh for the first time last weekend because I wanted to go sightseeing. I hadn't traveled around since coming to volunteer here at the health center.
Did you enjoy your trip?
Yes, but Phnom Penh is busier than Posat. There are more motorbikes and remorques than in the countryside. That made it easier to get around the city.
What did you see?
I went to the royal palace first. The palace is bigger than I thought it would be, but it's not as large as the emperor's palace in Japan. Also, the palace grounds were more peaceful than the outside.
How else does it compare to the countryside here?
Let's see. Well, the traffic is worse in the city than it is here. There were cars everywhere and it seems more dangerous than in the countryside. There are more people and the buildings are taller than they are in Posat.
Do you plan to go back?
I don't know. Maybe. The thing I like about Phnom Penh is there are more restaurants than here. So I was able to eat a lot of different food. The people are as friendly as they are in the countryside, but it is louder than here at night. I don't think anyone sleeps in Phnom Penh.
End of tape script 4.10.1. Tape script 4.10.2.
1. Phnom Penh is busier than Posat. 2. There are more motorbikes and remorques than in the countryside. 3. The palace is bigger than I thought it would be, but it's not as large as the emperor's palace in Japan. 4. There were cars everywhere and it seemed more dangerous than in the countryside. 5. The thing I like about Phnom Penh is there are more restaurants than here, so I was able to eat a lot of different food.
End of tape script 4.10.2. Tape script 4.11.1.
1. Excuse me here, I'd like to ask you some questions.
Okay, officer. What's the matter?
Someone broke into Murko's general store yesterday around 6 p.m. What were you doing at that time?
Let's see, yesterday at 6 p.m., I was eating dinner with my family at home. It was a special occasion. My parents have been married for 25 years.
Okay, thank you. 2. Excuse me, Samnang. Were you and your family walking in town yesterday around 6 p.m.?
No, we weren't. Around 6 p.m., my family and I were driving to my brother's house. It was my nephew's birthday. They were having a party for him. What happened?
Someone broke into Murko's general store yesterday and stole some merchandise. I was wondering if you saw anything. 3. Excuse me, Wati. I'd like to ask you some questions. Were you working yesterday around 6 p.m.?
Yes, I was. I was sweeping in front of the restaurant and talking to Bisette. Is this about the break-in at Morocco's general store? Do you suspect anyone?
Yes, it is. No, I don't have any suspects yet. Did you see anything while you were sweeping?
No, I didn't see anything. I wasn't looking. I only heard a car and saw it driving away from the store. They were speeding and almost hit another car. You should talk to Bisette. He saw them while we were talking.
4. Excuse me, Bisette. Wati says you saw something last night around 6 p.m. when Morocco's general store was broken into.
Yes, I did. I saw two thieves. They were carrying two large boxes of merchandise. They were running to a car parked out front.
Could you see what they were wearing?
Oh yeah, I could, because it wasn't dark yet. They were wearing strange-looking clothes. One thief was wearing a dark blue shirt and red pants. The other one was wearing an orange t-shirt and blue shorts. They were driving an old green Toyota. When they drove off, the car was going very fast. I think they almost hit another car. It was scary.
Okay, Bisette. Thank you very much. I now have an idea of who to suspect.
End of tape script 4.11.1. Tape script 4.11.2.
A.
At 6:30 a.m., were you having breakfast?
Yes, I was. No, I wasn't. B.
Were you playing football at 11 a.m.?
Yes, I was. No, I wasn't. C.
Was your father working at 1 p.m.?
Yes, he was. No, he wasn't. D.
At 4:30 p.m., were you hanging out with your friends?
Yes, I was. No, I wasn't. E.
Was your family watching TV at 8 p.m.?
Yes, we were. No, we weren't.
End of tape script 4.11.2. Tape script 4.11.3.
A. Officer Samlan said he was interviewing people who were in the area at 6 p.m. B. She was taking photos of the crime scene this morning at 10 a.m. C. Pizza and Wuti said they were talking in front of the Chinese restaurant around 6 p.m. D. When we spoke to Officer Samlan again today, he said he was getting close to the thieves he suspects were responsible. E. One shop owner said people were feeling nervous this afternoon and were buying extra locks for their doors.
End of tape script 4.11.3. Tape script 4.11.4.
What were you doing on Monday at 6 p.m. when Murga's general store was broken into?
I was fishing at the lake.
Okay, what time did you arrive at the lake?
Let's see. It was raining and it was getting dark, so around 5:45 p.m.
Were you fishing alone?
I was fishing with my friend Butti.
Are you sure?
Yes, I remember it well. By 6 p.m. we were freezing because it was raining and getting dark. The fish weren't biting either. It was boring.
Before we continue, I want to remind you that I could have you prosecuted and sent to jail if I thought you weren't telling the truth.
I am telling the truth.
Okay, here's what I think. You weren't fishing at the lake at 6 p.m. and you weren't freezing. Instead, at 6 p.m., you were breaking into Murga's general store and stealing merchandise.
How do you know?
Simple. It wasn't raining or cold on Monday, and it wasn't getting dark when you arrived at the lake. I know this because I was sitting outside enjoying the sunset at 6 p.m. and a warm breeze was blowing. You weren't fishing with Wuti either. On Monday at 6 p.m., he was working at his family restaurant. Finally, you weren't wearing green pants and a red jacket. I have a witness who says you weren't wearing the clothes you have on now, an orange t-shirt and blue shorts.
End of tape script 4.11.4. Tape script 4.12.1.
Pizza, you're 30 minutes late. What happened? You don't look well.
I saw a car accident while I was walking Kiki.
Where? What happened?
When we were passing the market, I was thinking about crossing the street, and when I looked up, I saw a car was speeding toward me. The driver wasn't paying attention to the road. He was looking at his mobile phone while he drove.
That sounds like it was really frightening.
It was. The scarier thing was, he almost crashed into a group of children while they were crossing the street.
Oh no. I hope they were okay.
They were. When the driver saw the children were crossing the street, he crashed into a motor. When they got to the other side of the street, the youngest kid was crying, but they weren't hurt.
What did you do then?
I helped the kids to the other side of the street and onto the sidewalk. The youngest kid was feeling better when the police arrived.
Did you tell them what happened?
That's why I was late. I was the only witness, so while the police were asking me questions about the accident, I missed my bus. I told them the driver was speeding and looking at his mobile phone when he passed me. That was a very dangerous thing to do.
End of tape script 4.12.1. Tape script 4.12.2.
1. I saw a car accident while I was walking Kiki. 2. I was thinking about crossing the street, and when I looked up, I saw a car was speeding toward me. 3. He almost crashed into a group of children while they were crossing the street. 4. When the driver saw the children were crossing the street, he crashed into a motor. 5. The youngest kid was feeling better when the police arrived. 6. While the police were asking me questions, I missed my bus.
End of tape script 4.12.2. Tape script 4.12.3.
A. What was the girl doing when she witnessed the car accident? B. How was the man in the sports car driving when he had the accident? C. What did he want to do? D. What was he trying to do when he fell to the ground? E. When did the truck driver call an ambulance? F. Why was the sports car driver crying?
End of tape script 4.12.3. Tape script 4.12.4.
My grandmother told me this story once. One time when I was about 13 years old, I was traveling with my family and we stopped to eat lunch in a village in the mountains. It was the most beautiful place I have ever seen. There were no cars in the village. Everyone was riding a bicycle or a yak. While we were eating, two bicyclists crashed and fell to the ground. I was surprised by how everyone acted. No one paid any attention. The yaks and the bicycles continued to move past them while the men were pushing their bikes out of the way. When they got close to us, I saw one man was making a fist. Then the other man made a fist. I thought there was going to be a fight. They were swinging their arms back and forth when I realized they were playing rock, paper, scissors. When our waiter walked past, he could see I was watching them. He said, "This is how my people settle disagreements. The loser is responsible for the accident." Suddenly, the two men stopped arguing. Then I saw one man smiling while the other was holding up 4 fingers and sticking out his tongue. When the waiter saw I was still watching, he told me, "That is how my people say they weren't paying attention and will pay 4 cups of tea."
End of tape script 4.12.4.